Hello, are are you in there? Well, I'm glad I found you, finally. I guess you're still upset about that whole mess, aren't you? I mean, I don't blame you. The things I say to you, I was being just awful. I can't tell you how sorry I am for hurting you like that. I I got really scared for a bit, you know, when I found out your room at the inn had been cleared out. I had no idea what happened to you. I've been going from inn to inn, but you weren't in any of them. I thought that maybe you had left town. It was sheer luck that I overheard someone talking about how they were renting a room to a historian while I was out on my patrol. If not for that, I'm not sure if I ever will have seen you again. I suppose I still haven't seen you again yet. Could could you open the door? I have so much I need to talk to you about. Okay, but I hope you're listening in there. I have to make things right. I don't know if you'll take me back, but at least need to explain things to you. Hmm? The oh, the evaluation. I drop out. Yes, I'm positive that I wouldn't make the cut anyway. I suppose I told you as much as before. But now I realize that I actually had something to lose by obsessively trying against all odds to stay in the running. You? I think I might have told you before, but I have problems in the past with becoming single minded about things. I get a goal in mind, something almost impossible to achieve, and then I abandon everything else to try and reach it. I thought I had moved past that kind of thinking, but I guess I hadn't quite gotten it out of my system. I just wish I had realized what I was doing before I hurt you like that. I mean, what was I thinking? Blaming you for encouraging me to pursue that childhood dream? I'm happy that I gave it a shot. Really, I am. My only regret is not being able to let it go when I realized it wasn't meant to be. Honestly, it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it clearly. Most knights know that they're going to become one from a young age. They train every day for years before they achieve knighthood. Some of the more promising candidates had similar backgrounds, coming from warrior families. I was just a child of the woodcutter. I do have a certain amount of talent for combat. It's how I got into the city guard. But I just don't have the experience to compete. That, plus the fact that I had to spend so much time learning about noble etiquette to be competent. I mean, I couldn't truly compete. No, it's alright. I realized that I actually did remarkably well for someone with my background. In another life, I may have made an spectacular knight, but it's not the life I was given. I think I'm finally at peace with that. I'm so sorry that I let myself get caught up in this. You deserve my full attention. I was neglecting you, and you just wanted to spend some time with me because you miss me. You were lonely and worried about my health. You didn't do a single thing wrong. In fact, you made me happier than I've ever been before. I had some wrong times recently, of course, but that was because of my own mindset. Every good thing that's happened to me lately has been thanks to you. I don't know where I would be with you. I don't know if I'll say that the change of heart was all of the sudden. A lot of what I'm saying I knew all along. I just forgot in the head of the moment. Plus, I've been doing a lot of thinking ever since the argument. It's sort of like they say, you don't realize what you have until you lost it. I knew that you've been really supportive of me, but I didn't realize just how much I come to realize in you until now. But the biggest reason I think I changed is because of your letter. Yes, you gave it to me right well, before I drove you away. Did you forget? Well, I don't blame you for not wanting to think about it. Anyway, it really made me realize some things. And this part here, especially. Oh, my dear sweet guardian, my knight in shiny armor, you helped me find my way when we first met, and you haven't stopped since. My life made a third of the better when you came into it. Without you, things would have been much the same as before. I would have been lonely, somber, and stagnant. You shook things up and brought me into the light. You made all the difference for me. Don't be embarrassed. They're beautiful words. I can see why you decided to write me a letter. You were really able to express your thoughts well this way. Reading the passage made me realize that I hadn't before, that my dream had already come true. I told you early on that the reason I wanted to be an eye was so that I could matter to people. I wanted to make a difference, to be important. When I was a child, I thought that being an eye was the best way to do that. But I shouldn't have known better by now that there's more than one way to matter. The reason I've been so happy with you is because I finally mattered to someone. Making you happy and seeing you smile is the most fulfilling thing I ever experienced. Unfortunately, I never really stopped for a moment and considered that. I never thought about the reason I had wanted to be a knight and whether I already had that. It's funny, I hadn't really thought about this in years. But during all of this, I remember the incident that made me want to be a knight in the first place. The incident that made me feel utterly helpless. The local kids in my home village would gather together and play almost every day. In particular, there was one group who had convinced everyone else that they were in charge. Not surprisingly, there were bullies. They decide which of the children were accepted into the group and which ones were outcast. I never liked them much, but I managed to stay in the fringes of the in group. There were a few children who got teased quite a bit. But there was one in particular who stood out. She wasn't fully human. You see, she had an Elvish ancestor somewhere down the line. Honestly, she looked almost entirely human to the average observer. Just some slightly pointed ears, and she was smaller and tinier than the others. But she had made the mistake of sharing her line, and so the bullies say she was some sort of freak. Most of the children call her Knife Ear, or will tell her she should be living in a tree, not in the village. Even I made a jab at her once. I felt terrible about it after, and never test her again. But I didn't protect him for the others either. I didn't want to get bullied with her. One day, the village told her that they would give her a chance to earn her place by showing off her bravery. There was an old ruin near the village we were told never to visit. They told her to go bring something back, and they would let her join the group. I'm certain it was a lie, of course, but we never found out for sure. She was attacked by wolves. I was one of the only ones to see her alive after the attack. She was bloody and sobbing, but she just said, I couldn't bring anything back. She succumbed to her wounds a couple of hours later. That's what started it for me. In my mind, if I had been brave and strong, I could have stopped the bullies or fought off the wolves. I didn't realize that there was another way I could have saved her. By making her feel happy and welcome. If I had just been her friend, she wouldn't have been so desperate for that sentence. That's how I truly could have met her. You told me that being important in someone's life is better than being a flashy hero. I'm sorry it took me so long to realize. I'm sorry I hurt you. But I promise, if you can forgive me, I'll never forget it. I'll always give my all to you. It's the least I can do to repay you for helping me understand this. Yes, yes, I swear it. I love you. I'll never hurt you again. I'll never cast you aside for some pointless dream. Because now I realize you are my dream. Thank you. I'll, I'll make sure you never regret giving me another chance. Thank you for helping me to matter.